Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, yes, sir.
I welcome you all to this session. The first session will be from Dr. Shantala B., the principal of Government Engineering College, Karnataka. So a brief introduction about Shantala B. Obtained a B from Karnataka Regional Engineering College, Surathkal in 1990, and MTech in Industrial Structures from Karnataka Regional Engineering College. Now it's NITK, Surathkal, 1999. And she obtained her PhD from NITK, Surathkal. I think she has done her BA, MTech, and PhD all from same institute in 2013, sorry. Before joining Government Engineering College, Karwar, she has served at NITK, Surathkal, Vivekananda College of Engineering and Technology, Puttur, and as well as MIT Manipal in various academic positions since 1999. And she joined government service, Government Engineering College, Karwar, as assistant professor in the year 2010. From February 2014, she is working as in-charge principal of this institution. Now we have Dr. Shantala to make a presentation on classroom management strategies and techniques. Madam, over to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Basuraj, sir. So good evening, everyone. So respected all the principals, the secretary, the commissioner, sir, of DCT, director, sir, and all the delegates of DTE, the professors, and also my esteemed colleagues. So very good evening. Today, I'm really delighted to share some of the insights into the effective classroom management strategies and techniques tailored to engage, especially the engineering students, effectively. So already my introductions, professor had given my introduction. So straight away, I'll go to my contents. My presentation goes like this.
Madam, can you just switch on your video, madam?
Yes, sir.
Then you can also share your slide.
Right, sir.
Please switch on your video. Thank you.
Yeah. Sir,
slide, you can share the slide.
okay. So the content of my presentation, initially the introduction about the classroom management and the objectives, concept of classroom management.
No, the slide is not shared, madam. Please, look into it.
Not shared, sir.
Share it properly, madam.
Yes, yes.
Initially, we could see now.
One second, sir. Sir, now?
Yeah, it's saying now. Yeah. You make it full screen, madam.
Yeah. Now it is visible, sir.
Yeah, it's visible. Make it full screen. Thank you.
So the contents are like this: the introduction, objectives, concept of classroom management. What are
Madam,
the different?
please make full screen. It's only just in the desktop.
Okay. Right.
You click that icon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Strategies for the effective classroom management and the techniques. Finally, the conclusions and the references. As I have seen in my 33 years of teaching experience, students of highly calibers, like from the NITK class of NIT Surathkal, then the private universities of the Manipal and the government engineering colleges. So the variety of students I have undergone, and there's the classroom management will be one of the important tasks for all the newly joined faculty members. So classroom management has been cited as one of the most serious obstacles in promoting the effective teaching. So in this presentation, we will explore some key strategies for effective classroom management, drawing upon research-based best practices and the practical insight from the field. As educators in the field of engineering, it is imperative that we create an inclusive and supportive learning environment that fosters student engagement, active participation, and academic success. So, classroom management. As you know, how do you research today's students? Because the students are multitasking. They do all the tasks at one time. So as from the research, US National Education Association reported that around 36% of the teachers said they would probably not go into teaching again if they had decided to join again. A major reason was the negative student attitude as well as the discipline in the classroom. So actually the no teaching without learning. There is no teaching without learning. For effective teaching learning, classroom environment needs to be suitable and the conducive. So it is virtually impossible to have the effective instruction without effective management. It's only when the classroom is properly managed, can proper teaching, learning, and also relationship between the teacher and students should take place. How do we research today's students? Because they are all multitasking, performing number of tasks in rapid succession. So we can see here the student wearing earphone, they eat, they see the emails, and they talk over the phone. All these tasks, they perform together. So research has shown that our brains are not nearly as good in handling the multiple tasks as we like to think they are. So the students' generation is like that. Now, how do we handle such kind of students? In fact, research also suggests that multitasking can actually hamper our productivity by reducing our attention as well as the overall performance. So how do we research these students? So what we need to do? So we need to incorporate a real life experience into our classroom. So show how what they are learning affect and them outside as well as in the classroom. So we need to reward their good behavior both individually as well as in the class. We need to tell them what is our expectations and all allow the natural leaders in the class help to regulate the classroom behavior. So also we need to tell them some stories, news about the local stories or the Indian culture or the campus culture in our lesson plans. So, and also finally we need to celebrate accomplishment. So, and also we must have observed in our classroom that some students always generally they create problem for you when we are teaching them. So they may not listen to you, or they may listen very less also. So then sometimes they refuse to pay attention. They may not find class rewarding. In other words, I can say. So what they are indulging are some undesirable behaviors such as throwing chalks or someone dropping exercise books on the floor or snatching someone's books, scribbling or drawing the pictures of the teacher. Like these things happen in the class, especially for the new teacher. They might have observed all these characteristics of the students. In fact, they may do number of such things. The teacher knows that very well. The students are doing like this inside the class. So we may not like them to do all these things because it generally affects the learning environment in the class and thereby students' learning achievement also. So what we need to do? So effective classroom management, how it is possible? So effective classroom management is necessary for all teachers and the facilitators. It involves all aspects of what is going on in the classroom while lesson is being taught. That's what I have said. So the students may do such kind of things. Not only does class management include how the teacher delivers the curriculum, but also how students interact with the teachers and with others in the classroom and extend to the classroom environment in which students learn as well. So implementation of strategies that creates a safe, fair, and rule-based learning environment for the children to flourish in, and promoting and assisting students to understand the procedures and expectations of the teacher and classroom through positive reinforcement, high expectations and discipline instill independence and enhance student growth. So what we need to do, ask students to explore their own multitasking limits and create a plan for themselves to stay present and focused in the class while studying. So studies show that there is a strong relationship between the classroom management and the student achievement, and the most important factor which affects the student learning are the classroom management, and the teacher's behavior is also very important. So the objectives of well-organized classrooms for students to gain behavioral, social, and academic success in a structured environment that caters to tolerance, exemplary behavior, and learning. Increase academic engagement, and it will decrease the likelihood of inappropriate student behavior, facilitate appropriate social interactions among students, and to have efficiency in the teachers as well as the students' time, effort, as well as the energy, to promote an atmosphere which foster imaginative and the creative activities. Then, so what is this component? What are the different components of the classroom management? So classroom design is one of the important factor, how the classroom should be. So be intentional about how you set up your desk, your students' desk, or the board, display boards, devices, and other aspects of your classroom. So we need to teach the students to keep the classrooms clean, and desks should be placed in a proper manner. Thoughtful classroom design can also help to create a safe and welcoming learning environment. That also matters a lot. Then the rule and the discipline, that is another important aspect. So the rules are generally given by the college authorities to create a safe and a caring school or the college community. Develop classroom rules that your students understand. Hopefully, they respect these rules. While it may not be fun, be sure to communicate that breaking classroom rules will also have concrete and fair consequences. We need to punish in a manner that the rules and rules generally they follow every day. That they have to make it as a habit. Like whenever the classes are not running, so what students generally they disturb other classrooms. So all those things should be taken care, and we need to make the student leader inside the classroom so that they will teach the disciplines to the other students and they will mind the other students also. Then scheduling and organization. Being on time. Teachers also should take classes on time, as well as the keeping all the tasks on time, and the staying organized will also help to set up your own lessons. Your students, and that is one of the factor or the component of the classroom management. Then the instructional technique. So while you may not have the flexibility because the curriculum is given by our university, so like when it comes to the content and curriculum, so we are not having any freedom to choose our own curriculum, but we can choose how it is possible to teach. For example, first year student, suppose if I am taking class for the first year student, so the general lecture style lesson will be in a group, or the entire class or the small groups we can create. And the second year students may prefer learning maths or some other class with the digitally game-based learning platform. Like this, we need to try all such kind of instructional techniques. So what I generally do, so assignments, generally we give the assignment, they write, they copy, somebody will write, the good student will write the assignment and the other students just simply copy the assignment. So what generally I used to do, whenever the students are free or when the other teacher is on leave, I go to their class and I give them some problem as open book test. So what open book test, they can refer only the particular class note, so that we are making the students to write the notes in the classroom whenever we deliver the lectures. So that generally helps the students. So open book system is also one of the important factor actually, because nowadays the students generally, they don't go to library. So assignment also, if we give some set of students, go to library, refer this book and find the problem, come to the next class. So the student should come with that problem and he has to explain how he has understood that problem, how he solved. So that we are making, in other words, the students to go to library and to understand the problems. So these are all some of the techniques we need to adopt. So those are all the depends upon the teacher to teacher, it varies. So observe how our students learn best and use the classroom management strategies and techniques to teach our lessons. So the goals goals of the classroom management. So the first one, establish clear expectations. What does it mean? Begin by establishing clear expectations. So whatever I said, the rules, routine from beginning of the semester, the behavioral participation, or some academic performance in the classroom. Communicate the expectation, what teachers generally expect from the student. Either it may be the attendance policies or the grading criteria or the course objectives. The lesson plans generally we give. So as per the lesson plans, so the clear expectation, what teacher generally expects from the student at the beginning of the class itself. Then build positive relationship. That is another important aspect of the classroom management. Positive relationship with our students. Get to know them individually, showing genuine interest and care. So we need to acknowledge or the reward we need to give for the good behavior of any student. Address some conflict or discipline issues privately. So call the students privately, respectfully. We need to address those kind of issues. So that is the positive relationship we need to try to build up along with the students. So inside the classroom, we should behave like a teacher, but outside the classroom, we should be friendly with the students. So we need to talk to them, what are their problems. So sometimes it generally helps. So create a well-organized environment. So arranging the classroom, as I said, so that will minimize the distractions and promotes the smooth flow of activities. So the materials or whatever it is, easy access for all the students. Then use effective classroom seating. So seating arrangements, whenever we want to change them, because the routine classroom seating arrangement student may not like. So experiment with the different seating arrangements to find what works best. So for our students and the activities, whatever we have planned. So whenever round table also, round table conference, like we can keep the desk and we can ask the students to make their own groups, and they can study together, they can discuss, they can exchange the views, and whatever it is, the flexible seating options should be given, should accommodate and the different learning styles. Then utilize positive behavior reinforcement. Positive behavior reinforcement, implementation of the consequence for the inappropriate behavior of the students, and we need to follow their progressive discipline approach, or the whenever the students are not behaving properly inside the class or outside the class, we need to call the students and their parents. So we have to do some counseling for them. So definitely they will build up the positive behavior when we care and we respect them, and along with the parents, we need to sit and the counseling should be done. Then implement clear transitions. So plan and communicate transition between the activities and to minimize time and the potential disruptions. So we can use some visual clues or the PPT presentations to alert the students about the upcoming transitions, and whatever the new technology comes. So immediately we need to inform the students about the new technologies. So generally the students prefer both. So the ICT tools are available, different, we can test with the different ICT tools, as well as the Blackboard teaching is always very important. So we should not leave that Blackboard teaching. So we must use chalk and board along with the digital tools also. So especially the problematic subjects, we must use that. Then the effective lesson planning is also very important. So we need to monitor their progress every day. So we need to give them every day some task, and the next day we need to refresh whatever the things they have studied. So we can give them small tasks and we can give them to write something about that. First 5 to 10 minutes, we need to take their own attention. Or we can call any students to explain what are the things they have understood and what are their views on the previous day, whatever they have undergone the classes. So that generally promotes the skill and the sense of responsibility even the student has. So these are all some of the general principles of effective classroom management. That is what the demonstrate caring, take charge, be a control of yourself. So whenever we should not become very wild. So when we have to be very cautious whenever the students do some mischief inside the classroom. So communicate regularly and clearly with students, establish enforcement rules and enforce them, hold high expectations for students, persistently deal with unproductive behavior, model desirable behavior, teach students to make appropriate choices. So these are all the guiding principles. Good teaching, always go to class well prepared. That is one of the foremost things. So we teachers, for 1 hour of lectures, always my professor used to say, so whenever we go to his chamber, my door is closed for 1 hour because I have class next hour, like that. So we need to prepare initially for the new teachers, at least minimum 8 hours of preparation for taking 1 hour class is very much important. So nowadays we have so many materials available. When I have joined for the teaching, so only books. We need to go to library because no other digital tools were available for us. No mobiles were there. Somehow no computers also during that time. But nowadays, everything, when you Google it, everything will come on that. So even the programs, everything will come. They need not put more effort. So all these digital platforms are very much useful for the today. But the classroom teaching is very much important. So a students' active engagement as well as the positive interaction. These three are the main guiding principles of the effective classroom management. Then the strategies. So meet and greet. Engagement begins the moment students cross the classroom threshold. And that is what I just explained, the general topic, the 5 to 10 minutes. This is the second strategy I had kept. Rituals and routines. How students enter the classroom, what they do immediately when they enter the classroom, room arrangements, how they keep, what are the activities, how students' movement will take place, work the room. Avoid bias. How to avoid bias? Understand bias. Make personal contact daily. Appropriate rapport. Be friendly. Don't be a friend. Don't send yourself up to be misunderstood. Watch favoritism. Use professional interaction. Walk and talk. This is another important thing. Multiple work periods, 10 to 20 minutes in length. So students, we can allow the students to work in pairs or the groups or independently. So you give them some set of problems or some brainstorming problems. So students, they discuss together. So the instructor, we should not guide them. So instructor just facilitates, and whenever they go wrong, we need to guide them. How? So this is generally, it works very well, especially the problematic classes, either the mathematics or I am from the civil background. Whenever I teach in strength of materials or structural analysis or engineering mechanics, this generally works. So we need to create small models, and if you go to class, students generally grasp very well. So sometimes whenever I teach the support reaction, what is roller support, hinge support, fixed support, if I say, they don't know. So we create small model and show them how the loading will take place. If it is simply supported beam, if we apply some horizontal force, how it fails, or how it will take the load, whether so these kind of small models you create and teach them. Suppose if it is some other software related, you can tell them to create small problem and tell them to upload. How you can upload it? You can create your own YouTube. All those things. Generally, I am from the civil background. I was not knowing all those things, digital tools. So during COVID, so because of LMS, we were really forced to study all those things. Now I am really happy that I can use all these kind of digital tools. So till that period, I was not knowing how to create our own video, how to create the good PPT presentations, all those things. So sometimes everything, the situation make us to do all those things. Say what you mean what you say, then stop. Avoid the big hammer for minor offenses, assignment due days, exam makeup policies in syllabus, all those things should be done systematically. So communication is another important principle. Then advocate, self-advocacy and self-regulation. Students involved in decisions teach collaboration and critical thinking skills, encourage helping others. Then the teamwork is another important aspect. So nowadays the students generally they don't mingle each other. We have to create them the teamwork, then the leadership quality, then definitely any good IT sector or any company's placement everywhere, it will generally help. What are some ways that teachers show the respect? The students generally, they speak sincerely, return work properly, be available during off classroom times also. So use students' name when speaking to them. So we need to remember students' name also. They feel really happy when we call by their names. Prepare exciting lessons. Display student work around the classroom. When student does some good work, we need to display their work and have a sense of humor. Listen without interrupting. Respect personal space. So whenever students say something, we must listen to them. Use calm tone of voice even when they are upset. Speak privately to students when problem occurs. So now let us discuss some of the techniques. What are the techniques of achieving good classroom management? Focus attention on entire class. Don't talk over student chatter. Silence can be effective. Use softer voice. Direct your attention. Okay. So first one is body language. This is very much important. So non-verbal communication can always sometimes do miracles. So use facial expressions, using hand gesture, body motion, audible voice, vary our voice tone, speed up your speech, or keep eye contact. Get into their space to give aid. Then the setting rules. Raise your hand for permission to speak, always. Always we need to take the permission. Raise your hand for permission to leave your seat. To mark smart choices. Keep your dear teacher happy. So these are some of the techniques. So teachers set routines for collecting homework, distributing worksheet, or the cleaning attendance. Praising learners, giving them incentives when they do good. Offer praise and incentives. So whenever the student do some good, so we need to give some incentives. So at least you honor them with the pen, good lesson plan, those few minutes left. So whenever we need to prepare for the extra time to reinforce certain the skill, and one hand to keep learners busy and the other side. So always prepare 1 hour extra before going into the class. That's what it is. Good lesson plan, those few minutes left. Control class energy, because morning generally their energy is very less. So they listen to us. The first hour class is very, very important. Frontal teaching versus group dynamics. Frontal teaching means only the teacher will be at the front of the students, and this is the group dynamics. Group dynamics always works better. Learner involvement in activities. Teacher-student rapport, that is important in classroom setting. And that is the positive classroom atmosphere, creating positive classroom atmosphere, maintain safe and secure classroom atmosphere. So like we can give them
Can
some.
I wind up another 1 or 2 minutes?
Yes, yes, sir.
Already 35 minutes.
Right, sir. So almost I have finished, sir. So all these things already I have discussed about, sir, etc. Finally, the conclusion. Effective classroom management is essential for engaging engineering students and fostering a conducive learning environment that promotes academic success. So by implementing the strategies discussed now, from establishing clear expectation to engaging teaching methods, fostering a positive classroom environment and embracing technology, we can create enriching experiences that inspire and empower our engineering students. Let us commit to excellence in classroom management and student engagement as we continue to advance engineering education and prepare future generations of engineers. Remember, effective classroom management is essential to the success of our students and our own success. So, last thought. Being an effective class manager is not a talent which some people just have and others do not. It is a set of skills and an attitude learned through patience and practice. So these are all some of the references I have taken. Thank you.
Madam, thank you, madam. Any questions from participants? Please raise the hand. Virtual hand. Principal Kustigi. So, Principal Kustigi, do you have any questions to ask, sir? Okay. Thank you very much, madam, for your wonderful
you, sir.
session
Thank
on
you.
this class management techniques.
Yes.
Really, it was useful for all the teachers who are actually inducted to this particular profession. And thank you on behalf of the Higher Education Department and the Commissionerate and Directorate. I thank you sincerely for this particular presentation.
Thank you so much for giving me such a big platform, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have next session by Dr. G. Pundrika, the principal of Government Engineering College, Ramnagar. Sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So welcome you, sir, for this particular
Thank you.
session. Let me introduce Professor G. Pundrika. He graduated in mechanical engineering from JNNC, Mysore University in 1990, and he has obtained his master degree from NIT Surutkal in 1992 through GATE, and doctoral degree in aerospace engineering from prestigious Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in 2003, January. And he completed course in leadership and management level 5 from Chartered Management Institute, UK. And he has about 30 years of experience in academics, research, and administration. Currently, he is working as a principal, Government Engineering College, Ramnagar, since 2010. Earlier, he has served as principal of VMS Evening College of Engineering, Bangalore, and vice principal academics of BMS College of Engineering, and also professor and head of Mechanical Engineering Department, BMS Engineering College. Sir, on behalf of all the dignitaries and the participants and staff and the students, welcome to this session, sir. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Basraj, for your nice introduction. Good evening, everyone. Respected ACS sir, Commissioner sir, DT, and other distinguished officials from the Commissionerate, and my dear faculty members from different GECs. Today, I am here to brief about and share my experience how to write a sound proposal, grant proposal to the funding agencies. You may ask why such a proposal, research proposal is required for the teachers of government engineering colleges. Because it is very essential to involve all the faculty members in the research, though they are teaching. Teaching is not only the job which is expected from the faculty members who are working in engineering colleges, it is very important to involve themselves in the research, because as it is mandated by the governing bodies like AICTE as well as the NBA accreditation, wherein the criteria of 5 dwells about the academic credentials of the faculty members, and mostly it is focused on the research, quality research publications, research grant, and the consultancy and other activities. Therefore, it is very important for us to involve ourselves in research along with the teaching. Really, we cannot separate teaching as well as the research. So both of them should complement with each other. As you are aware, the quality of teaching learning in the institutions of national importance like IITs, NITs, IISc, and IEEEs, they are known for the quality teaching learning. And why not the tier 2 institutions like us are not known for quality teaching? Because the difference is that the faculty members at those institutions definitely involve themselves in the research and consultancy, and they work on the live projects addressing the bottlenecks and the issues faced by the industry and the society. Therefore, they gain the experience, they gain the knowledge, and such experience they bring into the class, interact with the students. Therefore, definitely their classroom interaction as well as the teaching learning would be at a different level. Therefore, it is also important for us to involve ourselves in research along with the regular teaching work. So with this intention, I thought it would be an appropriate platform for me to guide our faculty member and to motivate them to put up a strong proposal for the research funding, and which is also very essential for the faculty members to establish themselves and to create a little bit of research infrastructure in the departments which are recognized as the research center from the affiliating university. So just I'll go through the presentation wherein I have presented and shared my experience how to put up a strong proposal. I'll share my screen. Masraj, my screen is visible?
No, sir. I think you need to just try again, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, still we are not able to see, sir. Can you share the state service?
Yeah, that's what I am doing here.
No, if you share the slide to us, we will try to put it on our side.
Okay.
Sir, can you share the PPT, sir, to us?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Just you can do the WhatsApp, sir. We'll take it here.
Just check whether you have received WhatsApp.
1 second. Yeah, sir, I received WhatsApp. We will do it from WhatsApp.
Yeah, why it is not coming here? Mhm.
So not about to share your screen and
So you can take the help, sir, if somebody is there.
No, it seems you are not allowed my screen to share. Just check from your
No,
end.
we have done, sir, we have done.
You're not allowed to share your screen.
We have allowed, sir. We have allowed you to just, because last time we gave permission to madam, she could able to make presentation last time.
Okay.
One second, sir, I will just.
Sorry, my screen also the same. You're not
Proceed.
allowed to share your screen. Okay. You're not allowed on your screen. Slide share for this.
Sir, now we are doing from outside, sir.
Yeah.
Go to the next slide.
Okay, Lala. You close this.
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Yeah, ಆ page
To close this.
Sir, you can continue, sir. You can start.
ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್
ಅನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ.
ಹಾ ಸರ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್.
ಸರ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೇಳಿ.
Okay. Is this the first slide, Basraj? Yeah, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, friends, since we are in outcome-based education, therefore, whatever the activities we undertake, we are supposed to draw what would be the outcome. Likewise, the outcome of my presentation would be the participants would be able to understand the basic tenets or the process and procedures that involve in writing the grant proposal, and also they are able to understand the features of a good grant proposal, and also in addition to this they are also appreciate or understand the factors that increase the chances of getting the funded projects. Next, please. My presentation outline goes like this. Just I'll brief you. Need for grant proposal, writing skills, basic elements of grant writing proposal, the factors that increase the chances of getting the funded projects, steps in responding to a funding call, elements of strong proposal, funding agencies, additional tips, budget preparation, and the project timeline. So we want to write a strong proposal that has to be based on our strength. So what would be our strength? What is our domain knowledge? What is our competency level? How well we are competent to put up a strong proposal, for which we need to have the general idea to select the topic for our research proposal, and that can happen through the literature survey pertaining to your area of interest, the ideas that you would get while attending the FDPs or other interactions with the industry people, or symposia research that is discussed with the peer group or the experts. You can get the idea how best you can choose your research topic for putting up a strong proposal. And it can also happen that you may get the idea from the news, media, science magazines, etc., if you are in touch with these things. Again, after that, you need to, once you have got a topic, in my opinion, that is not going to be the final topic. You need to fine tune. While fine tuning the topic, you need to follow different interactions, procedures, with a different group of people. Therefore, after you choose the raw topic for your presentation, then next step would be to glean or gather the information from the courses taken in writing the research methods, because some of the courses that you have undertaken as a part of your PhD program, the research methodologies and other courses, and it is a learning for you, and you may get the idea from those courses about the information, develop a strategy for addressing all relevant components, and then you develop a concise title, but yet sufficiently descriptive one can understand what would be your research proposal and what is that you are trying to do in the research proposal, one can understand. In particular, the evaluator who is going to evaluate your research proposal. Then it comes to abstract. You are well versed with writing the abstract, wherein it is the summary of the entire work that you would propose, which includes introduction, background of the content, and rationale. Rationale is very important. You must justify and ascertain yourself why you are interested to pursue this research. What motivated you to undertake this research work, which is very important to make an impression with the evaluator. Therefore, rationale would become very important aspect in writing the grant proposal. Then frame the research problem. What would be the problem of the research in brief, because those things have to come in the abstract. Then develop your hypothesis. Hypothesis, you may understand, which is the prediction of the outcome of your research. What would be the probable results if I complete this proposed research work? So, which is very important and that you must highlight in your grant proposal. Then deciding a research topic, your research must be very methodological, repeatable, and verifiable. So you need to put up and present your proposal in such a way that whatever the work you have proposed as a part of your research work, that has to be very, very methodical, repeatable, and it has to be verifiable at any stage. And also you should bear in mind that it should not be done before, not only by you, but even by others who are working in the area or the domain which you have chosen for your research proposal. And it should be significant. What relevance that you have in order to write the research proposal, what is its significance, that has to be spelled out clearly in the research proposal. And you should also convince yourself that a reasonable probability of success must be there whenever you are putting the research proposal, and also lends itself a viable research plan. So in order to take research, definitely you must have some facilities like the building space, which is supported by the institution with current and water with minimum facilities, which is very much required. Then next slide, please. Then you have to refine your topic by asking yourself in the form of questions I have put, why is this topic so important? What is its relevance? Why this topic, whatever the topic you choose for writing the proposal, you should ask yourself why it is so important. You will get some answers because you have to refer many literature, and you must be aware what is happening around in this domain knowledge, and you have to prepare yourself and give the justification why this topic is so important in order to pursue the research in the chosen field. And also it is relevance. So what sort of a relevance is there, whether it is a regional relevance, whether it is a national relevance or international relevance, what is happening in the field chosen, and why it is so important and relevance in order to conduct the research, that also you need to present very well to the funding agency. And what are the hypotheses? As I said before, Hypothesis is you need to predict what would be the outcome of the research. That has to be highlighted. And whatever the research gap through which you are continuing the research, you may come out with a different hypothesis. So you can predict different hypotheses out of the proposed research work. And then what are the research methods that you are going to follow, whether it is quantitative or qualitative methods or both. When it comes to quantitative methods, all of you may aware that it is some sort of the information that you obtain through the publications, through the documents, and you can analyze those documents and the details which are available in the literature, in the reports, in the compendium, and you can come out with your own way of presenting the data or formulating the method through the quantitative analysis. And when it comes to qualitative methods, it may be depending on the type of research work you propose. The qualitative method may be in the form of getting the details through survey, conduct or interviewing the persons and collecting the digital data. So those things will account for qualitative data collection. Then you have to refine your topic by asking yourself all these questions, and then observational and international research, what is happening at the international level or the national level or at the regional level, that you need to understand and appropriately put up the proposal. Then you must know your field. What is the current state of the art? What kind of research is happening in the field chosen? That you have to update yourself through the literature survey and various other means of information, source of information. You need to come out with the updated information and decide what is the current state of art in the chosen field. And you must also have the awareness who are all working in this field, who are the top 10 researchers are there in this field, and what are they currently doing it, what are their publications. You must know up-to-date information about their publications, and what are the source for funding for this kind of a topic. You must have clear idea who is going to fund for this kind of a research work or the research project, and what are the key research issues which are there in the chosen field. You must understand by collecting the lot of information through various sources. And finally, who would likely to review your proposal? This is very important. So when you know the top researchers who are there and working in the chosen field, you must be aware who are all there and probably who is going to review your proposal. You must have a little bit of idea. Then as a normal procedure, a good proposal would consist of page limit and word limit, budget limit, abstract format, reference format, details about the PI and co-PI, whether they are eligible or not, complete. Their CV has to be put up as per the format given by the different funding agencies. Submission methods, whether it is PDF or online or maybe other file formats as suggested by the funding agencies. And all these, how to present the data or the details in the research report, what would be the table and format of the table, what would be the content, how you present it. All sorts of guidelines will be given in the funding call. You must patiently go through all the pages without leaving out a word. Try to understand the process and the procedures and the guidelines which are required to put up or write a strong proposal. Next, please. So general outline of a proposal, once again, it may differ from one funding agency to the other funding agency, but more or less, we do follow this kind of a procedure first of all, as a standard practice, contact information of the institution as well as the PIE or co-PIE who are working in the institution. Their affiliation details would be asked, and you are supposed to write the overview of your project, summary of the proposal, including the statement and the purpose of the project and why funds are being requested. You need to justify strongly, and you have to present why funds are is required for your research. Then the concept, description of the critical issues affecting your community or why the project is necessary. So this is very important. Why this project is necessary. This is should become the rationale of your research project. What is motivated you to conduct the research in the chosen field, and what sort of a concept that you would develop and how it is going to help the community. You have to spell it out and present it neatly so as to understand the evaluator without getting any doubts or confusion. The funder may ask for a need of statement which provides a scope of the problem, including the statistics. You have to convince the funding agency with all sorts of justification, including the statistics details if it is available. That depends on the kind of project you propose. I am talking about general. It could be medical research proposal. It could be a survey kind of a research proposal. It could be the experimental kind of a research proposal. That depends the type of proposal you are proposing for the funding. And focus this selection on what your intended project is addressing. That you have to have the better clarity in developing the concept in the proposed research work. Then the project description, how project will be implemented, including the measurable goals, objectives, activities, and who are all the beneficiaries who are going to involve in the research project proposed. What is the anticipated results? What is the time frame which is required? Whether you are going to collaborate with other organizations or the industry, whether it is a joint proposal or interdisciplinary proposal or multidisciplinary proposal, you have to spell it out very clearly, or any other agencies. Then comes monitoring and evaluation. So how project will be monitored and evaluated to ensure that the project is on a right track and that the results are being achieved. That you have to present with all justification, logically putting the informations, methodologies that you propose in the research proposal. And finally, the important component of the research proposal is the budgeting. So you must have very clarity and clear-cut information about the budget. So why the budget is required and for what budget is required. The project cost and the amount requested should be in-kind contribution and other sources of funding, state currency and exchange rate on which your budget is based. You have to have the clarity. So when I talk about the in-funding, there are funding, the grant proposed or the research grant would be of different types. 100% grant you may get from funding agencies. Some agencies may say that we'll give only 80% or the 60%, and this is some kind of a matching grant. Some sort of contribution must also be there from the institution or the university. Sometime it is mandated. So under such circumstances, you need to take an appropriate call whether to pursue with that or not. Next, the organization information, the background of the organization, the reputation of the organization, what sort of a governing structure is present in the institution, what is its composition, what is the mission of the institution, past accomplishments are there, staff qualifications, internal controls, and legal status. All these things are very important to sanction the grant to the uh, uh, principal investigator for funding. Now, when it comes to literature review, all of you are aware, you have got a idea, and you have to get the information from all the sources, academic literature, gray literature, where you don't get the ready-made information. You need to obtain it through various sources and groups. And what are the research gaps that you need to identify by updating yourself, what is happening in the chosen field, and you need to clearly identify the research gap. So it becomes a very critical part of your research proposal. You need to get the updated information to find out the gap which is there. And show you can integrate and synthesize the existing literature. You, my dear friends, just remember, there is no one-step formula by which you can get the grant. It is very tedious process. You need to have a lot of patience with you, because the process and procedures which are there, and particularly beginners, it is going to be very, very difficult to make an impress upon the funding agencies to get the fund. It is not so easy. Therefore, you need to work hard. You have to be updated yourself. You need to gather the information and identify what exactly the research gap and on which you are supposed to build your research proposal. So here illustrate some potential issues you may encounter and how you will deal with them. You have to critically think and analyze. Nothing is perfect. You have to start with the raw data and come out with your topic and the idea for your research work. So you have to state your research objective very well. Make clear that the first paragraph exactly what is your proposal is all about. The statement of your research objective should lead to directly to your methodology. There should not be any confusion at all. So whenever you present your research objective, when research objectives are identified, that should lead to the methodology. And another important clue in this is, whatever the research objectives that you have identified for your project proposal, remember that always it should be mapped with the mission of the granting agencies. So many a time, many people do not think, because always we have to put up a proposal, what is expected and what is the thrust area of the funding agency, what are its mission. So we have to align our project proposal such that our research objective matches with the mission of the granting agency or the funding agency, which is very, very important. Therefore, you need to revise your research objective, fine tune it, and then you are supposed to present it. Next, please. You must have the clear presentation whenever you are asked for the personal interaction with the experts. Many a time for minimal grant, it may happen online interaction. So in that case, state the problem or hypothesis. You must have the clear idea in your mind, and you should not be confused with the idea or the concept that you would propose. Otherwise, the experts will catch and they may have different kind of the opinion in you. So that's very important. State why this issue is significant, why you are motivated to conduct research in this field, what is the burning issues with this topic, and how well you are going to address the problem, and what is your hypothesis or outcome of the research that you need to present it clearly. State what you are going to do. So when it comes to methodology, the methodology, what you propose in the research could be based on qualitative or the quantitative or mixed method, cross-sectional or longitudinal surveys. These are the standard methods which are available in the literature. Once again, these research design and the methods depends on the type of topic you choose. For example, cross-sectional and longitudinal surveys, if you consider, it may not be relevant for everyone, but I feel it is more relevant to the doctors, where they diagnose a patient and find out what is the cholesterol level that particular day on that particular time. So such kind of a analysis and testing is based on the cross-sectional. When it comes to longitudinal, it's all repetitive, different times, different days you need to analyze, test it, and finally probably you may correlate with the diseases that a person has. Therefore, cross-sectional is one time and longitudinal is repetitive kind of research design, that probably whatever suits your proposed research, you can choose it. And when it comes to data collection, if primary data are available and the secondary data analysis, you must understand what is primary data and what is the secondary data. The primary data that would be generated from the basic research or the first research, and the secondary data can be derived from the primary data, which are very important. Many people having the data. If someone is having the primary data, you may not readily accept it, but he need to be validated. How well whatever the data one gets is correct. That has to be validated through validation tools, pilot studies, and many other tools which are available to validate the primary data. And thereby you need to propose your methodology more appropriately, convincing the evaluator to consider your proposal. Then the procedures you need to follow, any procedures in the logical and sequential way, inclusion, exclusion, assumption, whatever. If it is experiments, what are the things that you assume? What are the material properties that you are going to assume or estimate or you take from other literatures? Everything has to be clearly spelled out or presented in the research proposal. Then what sort of a communities or the participants or the individual, or what sorts of groups are involved in collecting the information or the details have to be spelled out very clearly in the proposal. And what should be the material used, what sort of a tools which are required, instruments are required, and the equipments which are required. You must have thorough clarity in your mind in order to prepare the budget, because these things will matter for preparing the budget. It should not be overrated or underrated. You must have a clear idea before you put up or prepare the budget. You are supposed to get the quotations from the appropriate agencies, and you have to background, you have to work a lot and see that you propose appropriate or correct price for the instruments as well as the equipment and the other tools, consumables that you are going to plan for your research project. And you can have key questions like, could someone else carry out this entire project, which is very important. You have to convince the evaluator that you are only the person who can execute this project, not anyone else. So in such a manner, you need to provide the clarity for the evaluator. The next
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. We can have this slide, last slide, sir. Next speaker is waiting. So next time,
time
we can continue this.
I am going to conclude within 2 minutes. I know that whatever I am presenting here is not able to complete within half an hour.
Next
opportunity, I can continue it later.
Sure, sir. Sure.
This would be my last
yes, sir,
slide.
please. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So getting the proposal reviewed by the colleagues and experts are very, very important. We need to discuss what is our idea. We need to invite comments, critiques by the colleagues and the experts, so that their comments and the critiques can be incorporated in a better manner in the proposals. Thereby the possibility of accepting your proposal would be more. And submission to the funding agency, as per the guidelines, you need to stick to the guidelines given by the funding agency. Accordingly, you should write up. And next step is waiting for their decision. Whether it is accepting or rejecting will be communicated to you. Accepting or rejecting from your end. They will ask the willingness whether you are going ahead with the project or not. If there are any constraints, you may also reject it. And other administrative formalities by submission, the bank details, institution details, and other things, and thereafter project execution. So lot of other subsequent slides are there which highlights how best you can write and what are the additional tips to prepare a strong proposal can be presented in the near future whenever I get the opportunity. And with this, I conclude my presentation, concluding, and I take this opportunity to express my deep sense of gratitude to the ACS sir, Commissioner sir, and other officials from the Commissionerate for giving me the opportunity to share my experience with the fraternity of the GEC. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I am happy to take it.
So any questions from participants? Soumya Achar and Mitesh Kumar. Soumya. Soumya, you can ask questions. Soumya? Dr. Soumya Achar. Mitesh?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Continue.
please go ahead.
Sir, the presentation was very nice and effective. And I'm sorry that, you couldn't present the whole presentation.
Yeah, I'll
If you
share the presentation, you
mention
can go
some research funding agencies,
Yeah.
it will be a great help. That is one
No,
observation.
it is
The
there.
second,
in the subsequent
one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as an academician, when a researcher does a research project, is there any compulsion that his research should benefit his students and the organization the researcher works? Is there any compulsion like that?
No, the compulsion would be you are drawing what would be, why you are conducting the research, and what are the end users. Who are the
No,
end users?
that
You
I will
have
be
to
convincing
identify.
to the funding agency. So I
Hello.
asked this question in particular because when we ask permission to continue or to do the research project,
Okay.
the authorities are asking these questions. What is the use of this project for our students? How this will benefit our institution, like that. So when a
Definitely.
researcher does such kind of a research project is totally, entirely different. It is not related to the complete academia, right? It is not exactly related to academics. It is a research work beyond your academia. So how these questions should be answered?
Hello. Dr. Soumya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing you. You are audible, please.
When we are talking about the academics, research work, teaching, curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activities, everything will be the integral part of your academics. And remember that in my presentation, clearly I told what is the need and necessary to undertake the research, particularly by the faculty of engineering colleges. It is very much required to have the research culture in the institution. You cannot separate teaching and research. It should complement with each other, because the kind of experience and the expertise you get by conducting the research, it is definitely going to help the students, help the institution by developing the academic infrastructure which is required to conduct the innovative students project. It is benefits are linked from the institutions to the society. You can derive a lot of benefits by undertaking the research project. There is no doubt about it. Everyone must understand this.
Yes, sir, that is correct. But every time your research cannot be on your students, right?
No, it cannot be.
It cannot be directly on your students. It
It,
cannot be
it,
directly on the institution.
it
So the
is can be
expertise,
see,
the research
directly.
experience, the academician gets, you know, that will benefit definitely.
See, whatever the research academic activities we undertake, students definitely would be benefited directly or indirectly by the kind of knowledge you gain by undergoing this kind of academic activities. There is no price for that. So the kind of experience and the expertise you get by involving yourself in the research, consultancy, and working on the live project, you are bringing those information and interacting with the students. And also you are making and guiding the students to work on the facilities that you have created online or in tune with what is happening outside. So they can update themselves and they can be more ready, workable graduates for the industry. So a lot of benefits that you can derive. And I think it is integral part of all the teachers.
Thank you, Soumya, Dr. Soumya. Sir, I think we have another speaker is on queue.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you very much.
definitely, sir.
Sir,
We'll
can you
allow
please name some of the funding agencies, please?
the next.
Yeah,
next
it
time,
is there,
we'll
Professor
allow-
Basraj.
we'll next time.
You can share my PPT to everyone,
Yeah.
where
I'll
a
do that,
lot of
sir.
information is available.
Anyway,
Even,
funding regarding funding agency, we'll be covering in next session. So next session, definitely there will be a session from Professor Pundrika. I request the participants to please wait for next session. Office. Sir, once again, I thank you very much for your patience, for your wonderful session on this writing the proposals, which is very much indeed required today's scenario. And we need to bring in a research culture among all engineering colleges faculty members. And apparently, there are so many faculty members who are showing a lot of interest in this particular topic. I request you to please continue your presentation in the next coming session on 15th of March. So now I thank you very much for this being in this particular session.
thank you. In the meantime, Professor Basraj, you can share my PPT to all the participants.
So definitely, sir.
And go through it and come back with a lot of doubts.
Definitely,
I
definitely.
can clarify in my next
Share it to
presentation.
me, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll share it to all the participants.
Okay.
So now we have next speaker from industry. We have Shekhar HMP from Tejas Network. Shekhar, I'm audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you, Shekhar. Just I will give me a few seconds. I will introduce to the participants. He has got more than 25 years of IT experience, industry experience in academia, working in different geographies for global companies like Infosys, PSA Data Systems, IPsoft, and Amelia, Networks, mainly in strategizing, development, and management of global competency programs, learning, education, services for telecom products, technologies, IT services, administration and non-administration, professional behavioral leadership skills programs, knowledge management. As a part of thought leadership, active sharing in knowledge, sharing knowledge to education institutes, government bodies, published several research papers at national and international forums, authored textbooks, and served as a reviewer, advisor, committee member for international conferences, University Board of Studies, and entrepreneurship cells. And he has got his qualification in BE Computer Science and Engineering, MTech Computer Science and Engineering, first rank, gold medalist. So, Shekhar, we are really honored to have you on board to share your experience with our participants. And the participants are more or from staff members of various engineering college and students. It's over to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And your time is 30 minutes. Please stick to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. So thanks, Dr. Baswaraj, and then thanks to the DCT for this opportunity to have the occasion to speak to you all. Am I audible? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I think Baswaraj mentioned about that most of the people who are part of this are from the faculty background, from the different colleges, engineering colleges. So it is more like a I feel happy talking to them because I was also a faculty back. So it is good to, have such kind of a sessions and talk to each other and share my experience as part of it. So let me share my presentation. Hold on 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, sharing, Jacob. You can see.
Yeah, it's sharing.
You
Okay.
make it full screen. That's yeah.
Okay. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the topic that I chose is not something very new that most of the industry today talks about, and then probably they would have pitched in different occasions to the colleges and speak on this topic. But I felt it is very relevant and important all the time when it comes to what typically an industries would expect from the engineering graduates who would come. And it is a sort of understanding to many of the faculties to see that how we can bring a very holistic, development for the students, so that a sort of a readiness gets created. And I'm sure that many institutes today have the opportunity to work with the industry, and they have collaborations, and then they sort of some exchange of the knowledge and so on. So there are different platforms, so through which the students are benefited in terms of bringing the readiness. So I would take more focus in terms of an information technology domain, the industry, mainly because that is my background and experience where I have been in the services side, IT services side, and IT product side, where I have worked in the company. So I can share the expectations, and I'm also part of the organization which is Tejas Networks, which is a Tata Sons Group company, where we are involved. It is an OEM, equipment manufacturing company on the telecom, on the broadband, optical, and then on the wireless 4G, 5G technologies. This is where we work, and we hire people across the India and also globally to work on our products. So what is my experience in talking to these freshers, and where we have seen a sort of a gap is something in between I will just talk about. So let me begin with the presentation. So when it comes to IT market, it is something that the country as an India is very blessed, thanks to the Narayan Murthy, Azim Premji, Shiv Nadar, who all started the IT services side company with a lot of confidence, and then made India as a hub in terms of the people who can work on many of the solutions for an IT industry. So we have come a long way in terms of building this capability in the India, and it is something is going, not coming down in terms of the market size for an India's IT industry when it comes to. So it is always a growing when you see for an IT industry. So I'm more perspective is put in terms of an India's IT industry, not at the global level. So if you see the statistics from the NASSCOM talks about that the India's IT industry revenue is around 200 billion, is already we are at that level for the year 2022 when it comes to. And definitely the IT industry is contributing to the India's GDP at a much larger contribution, almost 9% sort of a thing. So these statistics you would have looked at and studied, in various research reports and so on, right? So almost in a year, if we look at almost 450,000 employees gets added every year in terms of the requirements of the manpower. So that is where most of the institutes have today to look at the computer science, the information science, and then electronics and communication. The different allied branches of these things is more evident, and I'm sure that is the branches which are getting filled, sort of a thing. And also the other branches have also needs an IT knowledge, So there is a lot of changes of robotics and automation coming in the manufacturing side. So a lot of things have changed over a period of a time, and the skills are getting added day by day in terms of the expectations, and people have to be a lifelong learner. So that is where the lot of expectations that the industry would look at, and that would actually, that changes which is happening in a rapid way of these technologies is bringing the kind of a skill gap, right? The skill gap between the engineers coming out and the expectation sort of a thing. So what I meant is the expectation is not an immediately getting into a job. So that is not something immediate. No one can actually get into a job immediately. There will be certain training, there will be certain things that the period of they will have the in-house trainings and other things which happens for them before they actually get into the specific groups of research and development and start working on the products. So the gap is something is not very significant in India, but when compared to the other countries, but it is at almost at 21% is what the business standard news, which talks about the what's the gap is when we see. So as I was mentioning, IT services has emerged as a big thing. If you take 2 decades back, it has more matured, and there is an acceptance from the US market and from the Europe market that when anything that they wanted certain solutions, IT solutions to be built, they can rely on our Indian companies like Infosys or TCS or Wipro or any of these companies when it comes to India. So it has been very proven. So the question is, are we at the same level today when it comes to a product? So the product journey is started when it comes to from the past 1 decade. If I take it, the product industry, there are players much before. Like if you take Tejas Networks as a 21 years old company, but it had a vision from the founders that they wanted to start the telecom product development, where you see the niche players in the global market like Cisco, Nokia, and other players, Ericsson, and so on, where you have to compete with them in the Indian, from India. So it is not something so easy, especially in the sector of telecom. So the product side, there are companies which has evolved, and due to many of the other domains of industries, and today we see a lot of product companies also evolving from India. So almost we see 2,000 plus product companies. This is a data bit not very, I think, a year back sort of a thing, but would have been much more than the 2,000 product companies when it comes to. So a lot of startups companies are present, and there is a lot of GCCs which are present in India, the MNCs, the global companies. If you look at like Accenture on the services side, and Cognizant company, and then many other IT services company and product companies like Google, Amazon, and so on. So it is something, an opportunity where when somebody from an institutes are looking to build their journey of a career, they may land up either in a services company, or they may land up in a product company, or they may start working in a tech startup companies, or they may work with any of the MNCs, right? MNCs in India. So the expectations are very different. So if somebody is hiring in a company which is a product company, their expectations are different. The IT services company, when I was at Infosys, the expectations are very different. So it changes from a services side to a product side. So in terms of the skill set, what they really look at. So there is a promising. So all I wanted to say is the India as an IT industry has the potential to achieve much more, and it can actually is expected to reach, as per NASSCOM and McKinsey reports, it can reach around 350 billion, right, in terms of an annual revenue by 2025. So that is a sort of good news. Yes, any time in every 5 year or every 7 years, we see a slowdown. We see that the market is not good, and so that always happens with any kind of an industries, and the people who can succeed during that kind of a time is somebody who is a lifelong learner, who is adaptable to the technologies and learn these things. So this, with this background, if you look at, I have just listed some of the categorized companies. If you see the services, which most of you are aware about these things, on the startup side, on the product side, on the GCC side, and then on the services. So this is for a completion purpose. Now, domains, right? When it comes to IT, the people think that, okay, I'm going to learn certain skills, right? I'm going to learn certain skills, and then I know this programming language, and I know a database to work with. I understand the development of an application. So I have the knowledge of these things, or testing the applications or development. So that is something that gets built. But the most critical thing is when they come is that they also should start looking at the industry domain knowledge. So industry domain knowledge. This is something probably I wanted to say that because wherein it is an opportunity for an institute to have a plan to work with probably the different industry domains, right? So probably have some kind of, okay, what's the domain knowledge? Because domain knowledge is a generic skills is built, but when it comes to a domain knowledge is something they start learning when they come to the industry. But what are those, some of the probable things that they should be aware of? Because they may land either in the telecom, as I mentioned, because we are from telecom. So when I move from one company to another company, or within the services side, when we change the client, so we may be in the we may be working with a banking client, and something can change to insurance client, and we may change to say telecom side or anything. So we need to understand the domain. So that's very critical. So which we see that as an opportunity for students to focus. So they should understand that, okay, domain is something you start a journey and you should start looking at. It's not enough just the your technology knowledge or a language or anything, right? So that alone would be one part, but every domain would actually help when it comes to IT domains, industry domains when it comes to. So I mentioned about the changes in the technology, and in fact, the previous presentation was more about the research. Maybe it may be an academic research, or it may be an industry research. So the problem taken by an industry, because it is very critical that industry research, or it's a changing game today in India. Because I'm sure, because you know better than me in terms of the academic changes, because academic has evolved a lot, from past 2 decades. The way that there were a lot of restrictions, and today you have the roles of a practice professors coming in, and you have a lot of funding coming from the different research institutes, and then even from an industry to work on for the problem statements, right? So that is something which has happened. It's very much happening, and it's a co-investment sort of a thing for making it happen by the institutes. And this can be only a platform to get into what technology changes are happening. So one is bringing into the curriculum, the other is bringing the platform for the faculty and platform for the students to work on these technologies. So whatever the changes in the technologies are happening, so it can be focused, in terms of these technologies, where we see a lot of things happening on the AI side. And people can do a research onto, especially on the risk and security management related. Or trust is something which is very questionable, right? So a lot of things happens on that side when it comes to, and generative AI, you can see how much it has impacted today. And it has a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. So both are there in the generative AI. That's fine, because any technology change is something, will have all the 2 phases when it starts with, and it will continue. Because I still remember we used to have the data centers. The data centers used to be more of a server environments and sort of a thing. But when the cloud computing came into picture, it completely changed the way. But a lot of questions were there on the cloud security and so on. So, but there is, virtualization and then the cloud. So everyone said, virtualization, who will do? We don't want to invest, or sort of a thing. Cloud is a threat. but today it is an accepted one. So the cloud is very much accepted. The industry cloud platforms are very much available, and we never question that where my data is actually. So where my applications are, through which I'm connecting from my phone or my laptop or so on, right? So all these things, platforms have evolved of an accepted. So AI slowly will also be, AI is only going to be more like an assisting fact. It is not a replacement of any human. It is more like making us to do more productive work than the mundane works, right? So the mundane works can be given to, and we can bring a lot of automations possibilities. So in fact, the colleges and then colleges themselves can develop a lot of things. Recently I was with JSSSTU to present on what are the avenues in which the AI can be used to build like a product projects, right, within the institutes by the students and faculty to actually create the possibility of automations in all the different portfolios that they have within the university structure. So that is a possibility. So we should bring such kind of a thing, right? The opportunities for the people. So I always used to think when I was a faculty is that with a lot of civil works, right? The civil projects used to happen within the college. So if you take MS Ramaya, used to be known for a lot of building constructions all the time, sort of a thing, right? So I was actually feeling that the faculties and students should be involved into all those projects to practically run. I think there is not a good belief, right, in terms of, okay, the faculty and then the students to involve into they will outsource, but these people should be involved into. So they have a sort of an internship within the college, to learn a lot of things. So that sort of, and IT is something which we can create a lot of things, right? It's a software side, a lot, it is not open source. Many things are there. A lot of labs which can be built with very less in investment. Yes, telecom sort of a lab to build that requires money, but this is something which is very much easy to look at. So the technology trends has to be understood, and we should bring the platforms wherein faculty and both the students are benefited out of it. So when we look at an industry, this is an all-time talent war. So industry has a talent war. If you really look at Tejas Networks, all the earlier heights of a Tejas Networks are from a very premier institutes, like IITs, and then they are from BITS Pilani and NIT sort of a hiring, which used to happen. But yeah, India has grown, and the competitors, global competitors, have also come to India. So like Nokia, Ericsson, everyone is present. So it is not easy to actually get the talent. So one is on the quantity front, to get a talent is a challenge. It is always a talent war across the different companies within India. And second is on the quality of the talent. And the third is the employability, right? So the right skills. And right skills is something defined by every company, they know that what they need, sort of a thing, what they need, and then they just start looking at, okay, these are all things would be good for me if I hired somebody at a fresher level. So there is, this actually has made, if a student is, I always tell, right, students think that, when I complete my degree, okay, I've done with my education, but actually they start their education much more when they start working in the company. So because there they have to be much more rigor, they have to learn a lot of things. There is a, the expectations that they have to learn the things in a very less time. They have to start implementing the thing. They have to be very much adaptable. So, and always, this is an ongoing process, ongoing process for them. So they should have that mental ability to understand that, first my qualification is a degree with all the skills, and the next is to look at what I have to do when I start my work, as part of it. So yes, the very talented people, we actually experience a great resignations happening at all levels. So that is something higher or attrition. but it used to be there previous year. This year is not seen. We are seeing an attrition around only 5% of an attrition happening in the company, but previous year used to be nearly 20%. So there's a lot of change in the market, in terms of the opportunities. That is always, I said, very 5 years, 7 years, these changes will be there. The skills expectation is something a generalist, a specialist, and versatilist, which most of you know that what is generalist, what is specialist, and versatilist. So that is where you have created a lot of curriculums in computer science, especially towards data science side or artificial intelligence or anything, to create some kind of a specialization or provide an industry electives or any kind of an electives to build their growth of focusing towards what they want to work when they join the industry or seek an opportunity, sort of a thing, or somebody who is a versatilityist, in more than one skill, sort of a thing. So that is what it is. So this, from the employability perspective, when you look at the key things to see is, as I mentioned, it is centered around the domain. Domain is the key thing. Wherever they join, they have to have a very strong domain building. So that is something. And around that domain, a lot of changes happens in the technology. So today, if you look at our product, telecom development, they all been coding in C and C++, C earlier, and then they started using C++ in the embedded coding. So that changes happened. And then now on the automation side, Python is very much used. So these changes in technology happens for the given domain. So they should understand how I should build my skills around this technology, side. So that is a continuous aspect. And definitely they should understand the process. The process is very different for every domain. When it comes to banking, insurance, the process thing they use, it is very different. They should understand the process, whether it is a life cycle development of a project life cycle development, or in terms of any compliances that they have to follow when they actually are releasing the code. Okay, so that sort of a thing, they should be aware of the process orientation. So this is something is critical as part of the quality system when it is there in terms of any development process. And obviously, I'm sure that soft skills and language, right, the communication these are very critical, because day to day, they start communicating to their teams, they start communicating to their customers. It is very important. So the challenges which we have faced is in these areas is that the customers are across the different locations. The accents are different. If somebody is from America's side, or somebody is from Europe or from Japan, so they have to start adapting themselves to their accent. And when they start, because they are made to be part of a call, and when they talk to the customer, it is very important to understand what the customer is talking, and customer is stating the problems, and when in the call, usually what happens is they don't want to say that I'm not understanding. So they will say, a sort of yes, sort of a thing, right? So, but finally we land up, the customer will think that, okay, this guy is saying yes for everything, and it will be done. And in fact, we cannot achieve the target. So these kind of things will happen, and most of the times, and also they don't understand what the customer is saying. So this is something they have to build the skill, different customer communication skills, is very critical when they are in. So these proficiencies are definitely is going to help them when they work on different kind of projects, especially in the services side. Product is a very different. Product side companies are very different, because they do a lot of things on the individual basis, but they may involve less in the customer calls. Those people which is actually 5+ years will get into the customer calls, but which they will start understanding over a period of time working. But it may happen in a services side from the day one when they get into a project that they are asked to be in the customer call. So in services side, IT services. So there it becomes very critical. The soft skills becomes very critical. The communication becomes very critical. Okay. So competencies, when we see in IT services and products, that the expectation, I would say the first thing is probably the faculty can actually sort of look at and build what is important in everyone is a natural curiosity. So when anything being taught or anything, they should actually have the curiosity to understand. Sometimes we see that the fresher will not ask any question. When something, a very challenging problem is discussed, they seem to be they're disinterested. They are not at all accepting to take up that work. A lot of things will happen of not having the curiosity to do the things, accept it, sort of a thing. See, yes, technical knowledge is something it has been, they have been hired and they sort of a thing to look at. So one is a technical and a non-technical skills are very critical to be seen as part of it. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, Baswaraj.
Another 2 3 minutes can end up.
Um,
Another 2 3 minutes can end up.
Sure. This is my last but one slide.
Okay.
It is getting end. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, sure, Baswaraj. So problem solving skills is very critical. I'm sure that a lot of you faculty would give the people to work on these kind of problems for the different courses, technology projects, mini projects, and so on. Insist for them to be a lifelong learner. So that is very important. Make them, because they can sustain for more successfully in the industry and anywhere in the work is that unless they have to learn, right? So even in the faculty side, a lot of new courses you start taking, a lot of new courses you build. So that is how the things would go on as part of it. So they should be aware of that part. So attention to details. This is something, when a document is asked by them to read, whether it is a development document and requirements document is given, they don't really read it and understand clearly. So when they don't understand, they translate into design and implementation and do all the mistakes. So that is something is very critical analysis part. The logical reasoning, which is very important, because that would help, and creativity and innovation. They should always be thinking how differently I can do, what may be an alternate solution, sort of a thing. So the rest of soft skills, 2 important things I've spoken. So this is something is a known, but we should start seeing the avenues in which, it can be implemented with the students. So most of the people, this is a slide you can see that what has been shaded is the career best. They think that, I want to do this. That cannot happen for everyone. Your skills, your passion, and the company needs all the 3 things matching is very difficult. So they should be kind of stretch their roles. The organization is expecting something and I don't have a skill, then they have to understand these things. They have to build their skills. That is what has to be done. So when it comes to the business, organization requires, and then the skills are there, business demands, and you need to actually acquire those things. Something your passion is there, for which I want to learn something new language, but your project doesn't need that. That is your passion. That is nice to have competencies, but not for the organization. So these are some of the things which they should be aware of. Something nice, but organization expects something. Sometimes you don't know, you need to actually stretch and learn. So the key things I will mention is the first is an attitude, because that is what in the hiring we look at. First is an attitude, and second is adaptability, and third is looking at the right skills, and he should be a lifelong learner. These are the key skills which I wanted to mention. So a lot of avenues are there in terms of building these things through collaborations, and then making them to work as part of the coursework, as part of the projects, mini projects we can actually look at and then see those opportunities to build. As we also do that as part of the projects, when they work all these skills to build for them, if they lack on any of them, and in quarterly appraisals and half-yearly appraisals and then annual appraisals. So I will stop at this point. If there are any questions or anything when it comes to, I can take it up, 1 or 2 questions, depending on the time that is there. I'm sure that the time we started late, sort of a thing, and then we need.
Any questions? Quick questions? Couple of quick questions you can take.
Okay, so that's fine. So I think if you have anything to communicate, you can communicate to me. I didn't mention my email ID, but Baswaraj has my email ID. So it is, you can communicate to me for any kind of a thing. So we are also looking at to build a Tejas education program, which will be coming to different universities, and I will work with Baswaraj, TG Baswaraj, and then on different occasions to look at how we can take the telecom lab, as part of how Cisco has done. We also wanted to take up all these things. So we'll see the possibilities of those things. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Baswaraj. Thanks for this opportunity to speak to all the faculty, and thanks to DCT and the other, people who are involved as part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shekhar, for a wonderful session on this how actually students has to get ready themselves to face the challenges in the industry. And future, I think we'll still collaborate and carry this forward to the next level. And we hope we'll work together and see that at least the government engineering colleges students will have a lot of talent and skills in them. Only thing is they need to have a proper platform. And hope, I think with your all support, I will take it to the next level. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
We have,
I'll
welcome
drop.
Dr. Mallikarjuna Babu, the Vice Chancellor of Golgotias University, Delhi, NCR, India. Sir, welcome, sir. Okay, is audible, sir? Sir, you're not audible.
Good evening to all. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. Thank you. Sir, first of all, I'm really sorry for keeping you for a long time waiting. Sir, let me introduce to the participants. The participants are mostly, they are principals and professors and other levels of engineering colleges and polytechnics of government. Sir, I will just take a quick note on your achievements. An industrial engineer with a PhD degree in mechanical engineering from Bangalore University, a strong leadership skills in providing opportunities for talent growth and development of institution. More than 35 years of experience, dynamic and accomplished academic leader with strong focus on providing quality and holistic education, and recognized for expertise in advancing higher education, particularly in engineering education and profession, committed to inspiring and empowering individuals in the field of higher education to reach their full potential, passionate about fostering creative, collaborative, and innovative learning environments. So coming to his professional highlights, he's actually an expert member on prestigious boards and committees, including UGC, ACT, NBA, and NAC, oversaw academic and administrative operations, ensuring adherence to quality standards, recognized for exceptional leadership qualities in providing right opportunity for talents, growth, and development, and published and authored renowned expert in the field of actively contributing to the advancement of engineering education, and published eight books and 81 technical papers on higher education, engineering, and management, honored with multiple awards for dedication to academics and innovative practices in engineering higher education. Sir, we really were honored to have you on this particular occasion. I welcome you on behalf of the Higher Education Department, Commissionerate, and as well as Directorate of Technical Education. Welcome you, sir. So over to you. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Basra sir, for that wonderful introductions. I'm not feeling well all of a sudden, so from past 2 days.
Oh, sorry, sir.
It's okay, no problem. So that's the reason, my apologies, my voice may not be so clear, right, as it used to be. But anyway, I try to really do justice for some point of time. My topic is something which is different and probably related to education. I am not going to give you a PPT. I would rather love to interact with all the esteemed colleagues of mine. Hello, namaskara. So, ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಒಬಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿದೆ, ನೀವು ನನಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಈಗಲೇ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಅದನ್ನ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಅದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಸೊ OBE ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಹಳೇದು, ಒಂದು 2011 ನಾನು BMS ಇರುವಾಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ನಾವಿದು 2011. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಜರ್ನಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಅಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಐ ಬೀನ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ several activities of outcome-based education, right from grassroots level where we started implementing this particular outcome-based education at VMS College of Engineering. And then we have also conducted several sessions to various institutions. And I also really enjoy what I do. That's primarily the primary motive, and which gives me a lot of energy to work on these areas. Now, having said that, I've also asked Dr. Basura sir to give me a few questions from the audience where I can kickstart this particular session. And rightfully, thankfully, he has provided certain questions. These questions are quite very common things which we really see day in and day out. And if you would like to learn about OB, if you are keen and interested, there are several content, right? And several videos, audio, video, several content, huge pages of content available online. Absolutely, you can learn all that your passion, which drives you to go there and then learn about it. So now, what actually this entire thing is, we have learned in a system, right? When we were students and when we were young and probably, so all those things when you there, I know pretty young guys also here, but so those systems, all these things, what we have learned and come through have been what is called as a teacher-centric models, right? Teachers believes that students should study this, and you go and approach and study that, and you get educated or perceive knowledge. You perceive knowledge. So that's what the model which was the earlier one. Later on, it says that, so now whether student is learning or not, which we are not very critical, we are not knowing whether student learns or not. The only way we know them that they have learned something by way of examination. Examination doesn't really reflect learning. Examinations, assessments doesn't reflect learning, but of course, to a certain extent, it is true. But the thing is, now only a kind of a rote learning. Rote learning in the sense you by heart things and then reproduce and solve a question and get marks, and based on the marks you move ahead. But when it comes to an industry environment, when we jump in and a real-time job searching mode, and then we want to go and do something there, whatever question they ask, we fumble, we will not be able to answer. In the sense, there is a lack of confidence, lack of application of what we have learned is missing over there. So, for this, there is a biggest challenge which I see is the affiliated system. Affiliated system of education is nothing but it's nothing but a university conducting about several institutions under the belt, and then probably we start learning, and somebody sets everything, and somebody conducts the examination, and then we have only a medium where we teach certain things which have been prescribed by the university. So in this model, teacher has a very little and very nominal role to play to impart education. Impart education is those days. So when we were studying, so you all know, tuition is the thing. Tuition, what is that? Teacher gives you certain things, you learn and by heart and go on, right? You get good marks. So then that has become a big kind of a business kind of thing. Now, but what actually I'm trying to tell you is when you are independent, autonomous, right? It's not the university gives the curriculum, but you create your own curriculum. So there starts everything into the picture. So now where it comes into play, the outcome-based education is nothing but it's typically a student-centric model. So now what we were We have come from a system which is teacher-centric, and now we are moving on to what is called as student-centric. So now, what's the difference between these two? So to really give you an idea, just what is how the teacher-centric and student-centric education differ, we will move on to the quality. So quality of education, quality, anything, right? Quality is nothing but, so if you have a fundamental book definition is degree of fitness for use by Dr. J.M. Joran. So now, so degree of fitness of for use, you define that as the quality of a given product. Now, if a student gets a degree from an institution, whether he is having the employability skills and get a job, then we have to see. So that's a quality. Is another word measured in two ways, which is called as, we usually do that by inspection method, which is called as quality control. You check your component or product, and then you say it is good, of good quality, or it is of bad quality, or defective, whatever. So now, then at the same time, so then what happens to, like, let us say a production run, you get about 10% of bad quality. This bad quality is now gone. So you lose a lot of money out of there, and the overall product cost is going to go up, and there are several impacts on that. But what the systems generated later on, you all know that. So quality assurance. So here, it's a completely a process-driven approach where we ensure that whatever product is made or manufactured is 100% it starts working. Then there's a lot of things which are connected into a feedback loop and other things. It's not like a quality control. It's not a one-way concept. It has lots of systems embedded into it, and it is a thorough feedback one stage to other stage, and then you ensure or assure, right? It's not ensure, actually it should be assure the quality that the product which is being made is pakka. Now, having said that, now we move on to the outcome-based education. So this outcome-based education model is nothing but we are assuring quality education to the students. That means, say, how do we assure this? How do we assure this? So there are several objectives which we need to really understand and then move on to a journey which is called as outcomes. Now, why this is also required, that I'll touch upon a little later. Why OBE is required? Why, what is the significance? Why not we can thrive without OBE? All those things. So now it's a very simple fundamental concept, but this simple is not very simple. It is also complex in many ways. So now we'll begin that. So in a sense, we will start any job keeping end in the mind. Begin with end in mind. So now OBE is that you begin with end in mind. So now what you want your student to be after graduating from the said program, right? If he is a mechanical engineer or computer science engineer, or a computer science engineer, data engineer, data scientist, data analyst. So data engineer, data analyst, data scientist. So the hierarchy goes like that. So data scientist, the highest cadre kind of thing. Now, similarly, if you get into mechanical engineer, you want get into a refrigeration air conditioning engineer, or you want a production manager, or many portfolios which comes into play. Now, if you are looking into for a particular program, or anything for per se. We have vision mission, you all know that. And whenever you want to start a program, which we need to start with what is called as program educational objectives. So program educational objectives, those are the mission statements, the points where you derive why you are starting this program, what is the objective of this particular program. So like let us say BTech and artificial intelligence. So now what are the things you expect? What are the end goals which you would like to achieve? You will be listing them. Couple of them are 3 or 4, whatever comes into your mind, you write it, articulate them. Once program educational objectives have been defined by the group of people who envisage this particular program, then we will move on to what is called as program outcomes. Now, so I told you that keep end in the mind, begin, end in the mind, and start. So program outcomes are those desirable attributes, which I would also call them, in other words, desirable graduate attributes, right? A learner need to achieve undergoing a program, a different program, like you all know, BTech programs or BE or whatever program, whether it's a master's program, MTech or ME or MBA, MCA, so or BA, BCom, anything. Now, for each and every program, this is again, I'll tell you, you all know this is a program specific thing. It's not overall holistically for entire institution. So this entire thing you apply for a program specific thing. So now whenever we are saying we are setting goals or outcomes for a program, we have defined what is called as program educational objectives. This is the reason where we are establishing this particular factory for creating employment based on the resources what we have and in future developments. All those things, you can sync everything in line and create those things. So then what is that expected? We expect that, so these are the things the graduate should learn so that he or she will be capable of producing the desired results as we envisage. So this is what ultimately the graduate attributes are, program outcomes or program learning outcomes, which we really specifically talk about. These outcomes, graduate outcomes, are nothing but goals. These are the goals. So these goals are nothing but need to be smart enough to be handling. You know what smart I mean to say. These goals need to be defined in such a manner. The goals, SMART is SMART, you all know, specific, measurable, actionable, and realistic and time bound. So these are the kind of things where everything you really define and expect to reach, that's a goal. The goal need to be measurable and within a time frame. So having said that, so these, what are the graduate attributes that are going to be? Now there are, so when we started A to K were the graduate attributes, then so then later on we were given this. Specifically I'm talking to because it's a technical education, director of technical education is talking. When we are talking about that, we are restricting ourselves to engineering thing or polytechnic or any other program of a professional practice. So professional practice and engineering side. These program outcomes define the kind of goals which we need to achieve. So now there are, as I said, 11 to 12 of them are defined. So these graduate attributes or program outcomes are same as that of the graduate attributes that would be expected to be earned by other students from other countries as well. So in a sense, in order to equate our education, right, in the country, so we want to say that our degrees are to be recognizable and our student mobility need to be enhanced. The students from here need to get into some other country and start working. So we need to have some equivalence. That equivalence is nothing but established through what is called as Washington Accord. Washington Accord, and this is as a fallout of International Engineering Alliance, IEA, wherein this committee has set up 12 graduate attributes that are expected from engineering. I'm not getting into diploma and I am not getting into other things, right? Professional practice. So now, engineering, when we are talking about engineering per se, it is 12 program outcomes or 12 graduate attributes. If you 21, 23 countries, wherever you get in there, all the students are expected to learn these graduate attributes. This is what they expect. Now I'm sorry, my apologies. Then when we talk about these program outcomes, how do I really achieve them? How do I really achieve them? And how in other countries they practice that. So how do we do it? So now, when to define that, we have a program. Program comprises of multiple levels of courses. So courses is nothing but somebody call it as subjects. So there are several courses. All these courses will contribute to a comprehensive understanding of the subject matter or program title to achieve it. So now, when this is happening there, when this has to be achieved, now the program outcomes can be achieved through what is called as various courses. So various courses, again, we need to call them as, right, activities. Again, course outcomes we call them as. There is course outcomes. For each and every course, we have certain defined course outcomes. So, see, program outcomes are defined by the apex body, and each country has its own apex bodies they define. So, or they can adapt as it is given by the Washington Accord. There are two ways of doing it. Now, once these program outcomes, you have coined them or fixed them, then how do I achieve them? So I achieve them through what is called as various courses and through various course outcomes. Every course can have certain defined outcomes at the end of the course, right? At the end of the course, how a student, right? What a student is expected to learn and what a student be able to do. So this is very, very important. Student be able to do. It is not that mug up and writing examination. It is something which hands-on. So then when that we are talking about, then we get into what is called as the learning activities. It's all that happens with the cognitive, right? So all that knowledge, right? Cognitive. Then you have what is called as affective, a feel factor. Have a feel factor, right? Then you have what is called as psychomotor. Psychomotor is nothing but hands-on. So in other words, head, heart, hand. Head, heart, hand. So head is cognitive, right? All that. So what all that is knowledge economy, which we talk about, knowledge is there, but wisdom is not there. So both are different, right? If you look into. So now, when we are talking about all these things, now we have to establish a factor where all the program outcomes are derived or achieved through a set of learning outcomes, course learning outcomes, CLOs, or course outcomes, what we really call that. Now, when we are talking about learning happens at various steps and various styles. So now there are several taxonomies that are existing in learning. So the one of the most popular taxonomy even today, it is a Bloom's taxonomy, which we really apply to achieve what is called as these outcomes. So that's what I pause it here. Anybody can say that, is that right, or is that okay with you, or you want something? Yeah, go ahead. MB Patil ji.
But yeah. So 1 second, I will just.
Go ahead.
So Patil sir, you can speak now. Patil sir.
Hello.
Yeah, audible. You can continue.
Sir, it is a nice presentation. It is very much required for all the engineering colleges because you have made it very clear about the OBC, and at the same time, this is a time for all the engineering colleges. They have to go for OBC. It is one of the fantastic way of educational objectives. Definitely, it is enlightening, and you can continue, sir.
Okay. No, because I just wanted to say, because you all know these factors, then I can go into different way. That's what.
No. You are making it very clear, sir. So there were some doubts were there, like you are giving all the whatever doubts were there. You have made it clear from the basics.
Yeah,
it is what we are expecting from you, sir.
Great, sir. Thank you. And what happens, then we will continue. I told Basara sir also will get into next session probably. Now I'll just quickly go through and give you an overview of it. Then we will sit together and try to see how it can be. Next, I can carry some presentation, also show you how things happen there. Now, thank you, Patilji, for that. And right,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All the faculty, if they decide that it has to happen, it will happen. It is not by one faculty, it will not happen, right? Because it's a multiple courses come and multiple courses go and connect to the program outcomes. Now, by the way, the graduate attributes are program outcomes are getting revised. So you get a revised format soon. So having said that, now let us get back to where we were talking about. So ultimately, entire game here happens. COs, course outcomes, you have program outcomes, you have program educational objectives that you just park it aside. Then program specific outcomes, one more thing which comes into play. There are three things which are all outcomes which I am listing for you. Program educational objectives or objectives, right? So it's nothing but a kind of an idea or a vision. So where this program can lead to and what opportunities it can provide if you undergo that particular program. So likewise, be civil engineering, be mechanical engineering, whatever the program. It can be even arts, commerce, science, or medicine as well. So now, when we have to space this through learning outcomes, we need to measure the learning outcomes, not by rote learning. So anybody can pass. So I was just thinking, and I was also challenging many people. If engineering college, so you are saying that 10+2 is the requirement. If you can get 10th standard student to engineering, will he not pass? He will pass. he or she will definitely pass. +2 cannot be, that is a redundant as such, if you ask me. Now, why that maturity, why we are building? So now the format of learning styles are different. So that's the reason where things are being planned. And now even NEP 2020 also we talk about very, very broad factors and the holistic way of doing things. Holistic way is nothing but not only one particular, say, the kind of doing things, but you create that kind of ecosystem for learning, nurturing, and growing. Now, there are see there is a question here which I am seeing. COs, how to evaluate CO for activities? Does it become subjective? Yes, it can be. It can be subjective. It can be subjective. There's no issue at all on that. But the thing is, what you are going to define, how you are going to define, how you are going to measure it, how you are going to continue it further, how you are going to link it to the program outcome, all those things need to be clearly established. Until such time, whatever you say, it will not happen. So OBE, it is not that computing CO or PO. It's not that. Absolutely not. It's nothing but the transformation of knowledge from one particular level to other level happening, and transformation along with that, the application of knowledge. So now, if I learn something, if I have money and I don't spend it, there is nothing, no fun in earning money. So you earn money and spend money. So now at the same time, you learn, read, learn, and then earn. So now, see, what I'm trying to say is all these courses, all these courses, now you have about 40 to 45 courses in BTech program. In diploma, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರಬಹುದು, 3 years. So now these courses, all of the courses, through all these courses as a medium, you are going to get what is called as program outcomes achieved. That's what ultimately, how these computational practices, I'll show you maybe in the next session. So I'll show you how they are getting computed. At the same time, before computation, there should be a relationship between a CO, course outcome, or course learning outcome, CO to program outcome. You have to establish a relationship. So this can be, see, it is not necessarily be the thing which I say that whatever way I perceive, it doesn't mean that you others also perceive that way, same way. You can apply, because that's the reason where you have to define this very specifically. There is nothing wrong, nothing, no right thing, no wrong thing here. But only thing is how you are able to visualize these things are moving in proper direction, and you measure them at any given point in time. If you don't measure, you can't improve. If you don't measure anything, you can't improve. So now every year we have an incremental change, we move on. So that indicates what is called as continuous improvement. Now, having said that, the COPO, we have to build a relationship between CO to PO, which is called as course attribution matrix. So this is what COPO mapping, which we really call out. Now, so to be on the safer side, so you can write many number of COs, as many COs as possible for a given course. What is that CO? CO is nothing but a statement which at the end of the course, you complete that particular entire course. See, now I don't know whether many people call even today subject. Many people really talk about modules, right? Or units. All those things are gone now. So it's a entire content is one module, then complete syllabus one module. Then you start using deploying it for learning. Now, at the end of the course, what a student can really achieve. So achieve in the sense it's not an examination. We are not really talking about examination. But typically what we are doing is we are measuring through examination. Because we compute attainments through assessments. Assessment is nothing but pen paper writing examination. So you can also really go ahead and change the assessments. So that's what we say. Deepak, you can ask, no problem. Deepak. Yeah, please speak. Hello. Yes, sir. Matadi. Deepak.
Deepak?
By mistake, Enapa.
Yeah, sir. I think mistake came right there. Please continue, sir.
Yeah. Now, so now you have to correlate or you have to establish a strong relationship between C and C1P. Now, to cut it short, COs are the bricks, POs are the walls, right? These are the bricks you build and walls are built. Now, POs are 12 POs you have to build and there are several bricks you create. So now we have to establish a clear-cut understanding and then start connecting them and assess. So now what actually here happens is what type of learning activities one is placing there, right? How you are able to test a student, whether he or she has learned or not. There are several learning activities because so
Yes,
yeah, please go ahead.
Chotapata.
Now, what I'm trying to say is it has to be these spacing out these learning activities is a key point in really establishing outcome-based education. Without that, you can't do anything. Just real pen paper examination, it doesn't really give you that. But how do you create all these things? So you should have that kind of flexibility, freedom. What we have created those days is alternate assessment tools. A teacher has that flexibility to deploy a new tool, assessment tool, to measure the learning. So OB is nothing but measuring the learning ability learner or a student. Okay. OB is nothing but learning tool, learning measurement. So now if you can really understand this, now how do I do it? And also apply very systematically, methodically, without goofing it up. So now most of the times to get attainment, we make that small tinkering here and there, and then we say 2, 1, 1, 2, we can do 3, 3, 2, 1, something like that we do to get my outcome. So that's not correct. So it doesn't mean that. So most of the times people think that I should attain always. Absolutely not necessary. You may not attain some outcome also. No problem. It is welcome. if only thing is what we are seeing here is the learning outcome, CO, if it is not attained, you must be in a position to say why it is not attained. This is what you should know. That's all. If it is attained, on what basis it is now moving ahead? Is there any ways of doing things? Or all that always really help you to understand how it's going to. Now, again here in this entire technique, so far what we are all doing is, we have been doing what is called as for entire class. For entire class of 60 students or 70 students, we are applying this technique, and then through assessment, through exam marks, and exam marks, question-wise exam marks, then we are trying to wrap it and measuring it. Now, just imagine how this is possible, how we can really map it, and then if you attain it, why you are attaining it. If you do not attaining it, why that reason. So that if you can really articulate, then you have done your job. Then you have done your job. Now it keeps on moving ahead, and as what we have defined, CO outcome is nothing but at the end of the course. That means it happens in a semester, 14 or 15 weeks. So a definite number of classes and different number of drill of tests, which are right, maybe internal test and external examination test, and then you are clearing it up. So now that is one thing which you have to see. How we have to really see that. So CO2 PO and attainment, attained or not. If it is not attained, why it is not attained, where the error is happening. If it is attained, why, how you could attain, and how this can be improvised. So these are the two factors play a vital role, and you are moving ahead into continuous improvement. Sum total will sometimes you may get program outcome attained or not attained. So if you not attained means you will not lose marks. If it is attained, you will not get more marks. That's, please keep that in your mind. It is not a, so, but the thing is, this technique or this process will let you know the quality metrics, how you can improve if it is applied thoroughly and systematically. So you can play in any fashion, right? You can play in any fashion, but you would love to apply this in a very systematic way, then automatically you can achieve the desired goals or desired results. So now, so this is what actually the journey. So what we have seen today is, I think, what the outcomes, how or what are the outcomes which are coming in out, and how vision. You all know, for every program there is a vision. Vision further split into educational objectives, and then outcomes are mission statements, right? So actionable points. So vision is a futuristic thing, and mission is actionable statements which we really call about. Then we have seen what are the various types of learning outcomes. Typically, I was talking about the course outcome. The other one is program outcome. Course outcome, program outcome. In addition to that, what we also have prescribed is what is called as program specific outcome. What is this program specific outcome? It's a predominantly very simple thing. Program outcomes, 12 of them are defined by National Board of Accreditation. In other words, they are nothing but defined by the Washington or ACA. So once you have taken 12 of them as it is, and you are calling it as, right? So program outcomes, they are defined. Now, let us say in my particular program, like you consider mechanical engineering or consider civil engineering, consider any other engineering program or any other program per se, if you have a specific talent of the group of faculty, most of the faculty belong to one domain. Any program, you understand this terminology. I think you're all very seasoned teachers. There are multiple domains in a program. So now you have these domains need to be balanced and connected. Instead, what we do is these domains are not balanced, not connected. So it's skewed towards to one particular domain. Design engineering, there are more number of people. Coders are more. There are no computer architecture, nobody can teach. So all teachers are one particular group. Then what they can do is they turn it to their advantage. They can, right? Because you can really create more data engineers. Then definitely your job is done. Your job is done. So now, based on your strengths of resources, of course, be it physical or people, based on the resources, you can also articulate what is called as an outcome, which is called as program specific outcome. What MBA and we desire to see there is that what is the specific outcomes, why you are really coming in, articulating that passion. So the articulation has important significance. It's not that PS1 you write same thing as a PO. It doesn't work. So you need to understand what is that. Again, this is a very subjective thing. So you keep on verifying, modifying things there. Then let us see. So you move on to that and create PS. PSs can be 1, 2, 3, maximum 2. I would say that you can. There is no prescription over there. Any number, because 12 POs as it is, you got to see how these POs are sliced and what are the things we'll see in the next session. But now COs, POs, PSOs, and creating a relationship between all of them and trying to achieve what is expected to be achieved, which have been defined very much in the beginning itself. So begin with end in mind, right? Finally, by the graduation time, all my students get into data artificial intelligence job, or all my students become design engineers. All my students become structural engineers. So strong goal you are setting it up. So now, that's what. So now you create a process which ensures to achieve those things. Create a process that ensures those things, then you are done it. So now, to create that, there are several ways of doing things, multiple number of ways of things, and there is no one size fits all. It doesn't really. So then we have to really build those models and practice. So that's what I would like to say. So OB is nothing but, so it's a process-driven approach wherein you see how you can achieve the desired objectives through a educational model. So that's what we are now contemplating. I take a pause here and stop here. And we will move on to the next session. I think Basara sir, if he permits, right? Then we will maybe next week or whenever the time comes, then we will see how these things will get articulated, how these things, competitions do happen, what is the relation and correlation between all these factors, what we need to do. There is nothing need to be worried, because some people think that there are a lot of competitions, calculations, and other things. Absolutely nothing. You can. It's a child's play. You create an Excel sheet, then everything is done. So you need not really worry on those things. As moving ahead, there are learning pockets, learning stages. There are so many things which we can discuss probably maybe in the next session. So now, OB is the thing which is the way which you are moving forward. Without OB, you will not be able to move ahead. Even now, schools, children are being exposed to outcome-based education. Every CBC syllabus, CBSE syllabus, if you see, they are writing outcomes. So now, imagine, right, higher education, which we are talking about over these many years, those already been implemented in the schools. Now that educational format will be going to be, format is going to be changed, and then things have to be catch up. So now, with that, I stop here. So then, if any questions, quick questions, I can take it. So these questions can become a pedestal for the next session, which I intend to come again.
So thank you very much, sir. Now I request participants, those who are willing to ask any questions, so that I think sir can have those questions for the next session. Sir, always it's our pleasure, sir. It's not that you have to give the chance. It will be always your decisions. Anytime you can just join us, sir.
Yeah.
Share your lesson. In spite of your ill health, you could able to have a lot of patience, and we could able to maintain with a lot of difficulty. We are trying to explain, and definitely it's very more informative and and enlightening talk on outcome-based education. So most of the times, I think regarding OB, there are a lot of doubts and uncleared things, because it all depends upon how they interpret and understand the concepts. So in that test, I think you went very slowly and explained all the terminologies involved in OBE. I request any of the participants, if they have any questions, or you can mail me in case if you have any questions or doubts related to OBE. Sir will be always happy to answer our questions. Patil sir?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, there is small doubt, like how to fix the direct attainment and the indirect attainment. What would be the proportion, like for our institute, we have taken 80-20. Is it appropriate or it can be modified, like?
Patel sir, agale ಹೇಳಿದಿನಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ.
Yes,
right?
sir.
There is nothing like appropriate here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why you are choosing, you need to justify.
I chosen the 80% for the direct because it is a qualitative, and whereas the indirect attainment is a quantitative, sir. Like reverse way, like the direct attainment is a quantitative, where we conduct an examination and a lot of process will be there. It is well defined. Whereas in this thing, indirect attainment, it is just collecting the information or collecting the feedback from the student, and again attaining to this thing POs. That I given little less this thing, or maybe 20% we are taking. Is it appropriate?
Sir, again I told you, there is nothing like that appropriate, inappropriate.
Yeah,
So,
definitely, sir.
You can fix it up. You can fix it up.
Yeah.
Whenever you should not give something loose marks, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
You give 20% for the sake, then you get more. So indirect assessment, you get 2 out of 2.
Yes, sir.
People will do that, so that manipulation should not happen. If you are not manipulating the data, you can use anything. 20%, no issues.
Okay.
80-20 or 60-40, I have no issues, right? Some people say that 95% I will take this 5% that side. Absolutely, there is no issue. But you define as the process you started, then don't go back and then start improving. You yourself see the change, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is nice.
Competitions, then you try to see where the change happens, right?
Yes, yes,
Now,
sir.
yeah, today computational era, you Excel sheet, you can always compute very fast, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that way both are correct, sir. There is no issue. Absolutely. For me, everything is correct, but you must be able to articulate why you are doing that.
Yes, sir. It was deliberated in our DOE meeting,
Yeah.
and we have decided maybe 80% for the direct, because where it is a qualitative analysis will be there, and whereas in indirect attainment it is quantitative, because a lot of feedback, so many other activities and all we are collecting, where it may not be a qualitative. In that basis, we have taken 80-20. I feel it is okay. Like,
Yeah, that should be fine. Yes.
yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, if any of you have any questions related to OBE, you can mail me so that I can consider it and send it to Professor in coming days. Sir, thank you very much for your session, sir. Sir, we're highly, have a lot of, gratitude towards our engineering colleges, government engineering colleges. And previously also, you have just worked with us within various capacities, helping all the government colleges and aided colleges. So definitely we need your support and guidance in future as well. And the next session definitely, sir, I'll talk to you and I'll fix it in the coming 15th of March, sir.
So, right. Thank you very much. And
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
sir, for your wonderful session, and it is quite enlightening. At the same time, you have touched the basic issues, sir. Basic this thing. You have made it very clear, the basics. Very, very thankful to you, sir.
so thank you very much, and thank you to the DTE office and particularly Basavas sir for inviting me here. And you have any queries, as he said, you can send it to him, and I'll get those questions, and then I can, or you can ask anytime. Absolutely no problem. So we'll work together, right?
Thank
So
you, sir.
thank you very much, and namaskara.
Thank you very much, sir. And I thank our Secretary, sir, and Commissioner and Director, sir, for this providing this opportunity to share this, exchange these ideas among us. And I also thank, special thanks to today's speaker, Dr. Mallikarjuna Babu, sir, for his enlightening speech. And he made it very clear about some of the concepts and terminologies in OBA used. And anyway, he's willing to share another session with all of us. And next time we will we'll be able to listen to his lecture. And I thank all the participants, principals, staff members, and students for joining this session, making this lecture series 2 a successful one. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Have
you,
a nice
sir.
day. Good night. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, Basaraj, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.